Jai. Hare Krishna, everyone. We'll start with Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya
Jaya Radha
Madhava
Madhava Kunja Bihari
Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya
Jaya
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradari
Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Brajana Ranjana Yashoda
Yashoda Nandana
Nandana
Brajana
Brajana
Ranjana
Ranjana Yamuna Tiramana Chari Yamuna
Jamuna Tira Vanachari
Chari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha
Radha
Madhava
Madhava
Kunja
Kunja
Bihari
Bihari Gopi Janvalabha Girivaradhari Jaya
Jaya Gopi
Gopi
Jana Vallabha
Janvalabha
Girvaradari
Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yashodanandana
Yashoda Nandana
Brajana Ranjana
Brajaranjana
Yamuna Tira Manishari Yamuna
Jamuna Tira Vanachari
Manishari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja
Kunja
Bihari
Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Rama Rama Rama
Rama Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
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 Hare Hare
Hare
Nitya Gaura Haribo
Hari Bol.
Haribo Haribo Nitya Gaura Haribo Nitya
Nitai
Gaura Haribo
Hari
Haribo
Bol.
Haribo
Hari
Nitya Gaura
Bol.
Haribo
Hari Bol.
Jai Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jaya Prabhupada, Jai
Jaya
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Jaya Gurudev.
Gurudev.
Gurudev, Gurudev, Jai Jaya Gurudev, Jai
Jaya Jaya
Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev,
Gurudev.
Gurudev, Jai
Jaya
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 Gurudev.
Gurudev.
Go to Premanande.
Hari
Hari.
Hari Bol.
All glories to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki Sai.
Jai.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki Sai.
Jai.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram
Naram
Chaiva
Deva
Narottamam
Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. Hare Krishna and welcome everyone to class today. Today we're reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and Canto 4, the creation of the fourth order, chapter 30, the activities of the prachetas. And today's verse is number 34. So let's recite this together. Tulyam tulayama lavenapi
Tulyayamalvenapi
na sarvagam na punapavam
na
न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवम्
punarbhavam
Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya
भगवत्सङ्गि सङ्गस्य
tasya
Martyanam Kim Utasi Saha
मर्त्यानां किम् उताशिषः
Tulyama Lavena Pi
तुलयामलवेनापि
Na Svargam Na Punarbhavam
न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवम्
Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya
भगवत्सङ्गि सङ्गस्य
Sangasya
Matyanam Kim Utaisi Saha
मर्त्यानां किम् उताशिषः
Tulyama Lavenapi
तुल्यामलवेनापि
Na Svargam Na Punarbhavam
न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवम्
Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya
भगवत्सङ्गि सङ्गस्य
Maryanam Kim Utaisi Saha
मर्त्यानां किम् उताशिषः
Tulayam lavenapi
तुल्यामलवेनापि
na swargam na punarbhavam
न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवम्
Bhagavad Sangi Sangasya
भगवत्सङ्गि सङ्गस्य
Martyanam Kim Utashishaha
मर्त्यानां किं मुताशिषः तुलयामलवेनापि
तुलयामलवेनापि
न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवम्
न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवम्
भगवत्सङ्गीसङ्गस्य
भगवत्सङ्गी
सङ्गस्य
मर्त्यानां किम् उताशिषः
मर्त्यानां किम् उताशिषः
तुलयां लवेनापि
तुलयामलवेनापि
न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवम्
न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवम्
भगवत्सङ्गी सङ्गस्य
भगवत्सङ्गीसङ्गस्य
मर्त्यानां किमुताशिषः
मर्त्यानां किमुताशिषः
तुलयामलवेनापि
तुल्यामलवेनापि
न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवम्
न
न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवम्
भगवत्सङ्गी सङ्गस्य
भगवत्सङ्गीसङ्गस्य
मर्त्यानां किमुताशिषः
मर्त्यानां किमुताशिषः
Hare Krishna, thank you. Let's move to word for word. Tulyama,
Tulyama.
we compare.
We compare
We compare
Lavena,
Lavena
with a moment.
with
with
a
a
moment.
moment.
Api,
Api,
even.
Even
Na,
no,
not.
not
Svargam,
Swargam,
Swargam,
attainment of the heavenly planets.
attainment of heavenly planets.
Na,
Na,
not.
not
Apuna bhavam,
Apunarbhavam,
merging into the Brahman effulgence.
merging
merging into the Brahman effulgence.
And Bhagavat,
Bhagavat
of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
of the
of
Supreme
Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Sangi,
Sangi
Sangi
with associates.
with associates.
Sangasya,
Sangasya
Sangasya
of association.
of
of
association.
association.
Martyanam,
Martyana
Martyana
of persons who are destined to die.
of persons
persons who are destined to die.
Kim uta,
Kim Uta,
Kim Uta,
how much less.
how much
how
less?
much less?
Ashishaha,
Ashisha,
Ashishaha,
benedictions.
benedictions.
Thank you. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation, please repeat. Even a moment's association
even
Even a moment's association
with a pure devotee
with
with a pure devotee
cannot be compared to
cannot be compared to
being transferred to heavenly planets
being
transferred to heavenly planets
or even merging
or even merging
into the Brahman effulgence
into the
into the
Brahman
Brahman effulgence
in complete liberation.
in complete
in complete liberation
For living entities
for living
for living entities
who are destined to give up the body
who are destined to give up the body
and die.
and
die.
Association with pure devotees
Association with pure devotees
is the highest benediction.
is the
is
highest
the highest benediction.
Thank you. Purport, please listen. The great saint Prabodhananda Saraswati, a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, has stated, Kaivalyam narakayate tridasa pur akasa pushpayate. For a pure devotee, Kaivalya, merging into the existence of Brahman, the Brahman effulgence, is no better than living in hell. Similarly, he considers promotion to heavenly planets, Tridasapur, just another kind of phantasmagoria. In other words, a pure devotee does not place much value in the destination of the kamis, the heavenly planets, or in the destination of the jnanis, merging into the Brahman effulgence. A pure devotee considers a moment's association with another pure devotee to be far superior to residing in a heavenly planet or merging in the Brahman effulgence. The topmost benediction for those who are living in this material world and are subjected to the repetition of birth and death, transmigration, is association with pure devotees. One should search out pure devotees and remain with them. That will make one completely happy, even though living within the material world. This Krishna consciousness movement is started for that purpose. A person who is overly affected materially may take advantage of this movement and become intimately associated with it. In this way, the confused and frustrated inhabitants of this material world may find the highest happiness in association with devotees. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Chakshulumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pashtata Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome everyone. Welcome to class. Thank you everyone for attending. I am just going to pull up some notes because otherwise I'll be lost. Again, thank you all for attending class this morning. It's always such a blessing to glorify Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity. So before we begin, please may I ask for your blessings and also for your forgiveness if I make any mistakes or offenses. So we'll start with that translation again. Even a moment's association with a pure devotee cannot be compared to being transferred to heavenly planets or even merging into the Brahman effulgence in complete liberation. For living entities who are destined to give up the body and die, association with pure devotees is the highest benediction. So in today's verse, we can see this very important point being made, that actually being around a pure devotee of Lord Sri Krishna is better than going to the heavenly planets, and it is better than merging into the Brahman Jyoti, or the Brahman effulgence. So for all of us living beings who must all eventually die, being among pure devotees is actually the greatest blessing. Prabodhananda Sarasvati, Lord Chaitanya's devotee, said that Kaivalya, or merging into the Brahman effulgence, is just like living in hell. And also he thought that going to the heavenly planets was just an illusion or just like a fantasy, meaning that a pure devotee does not even value these destinations of the karmis who try for the heavenly planets, and of the jnanis who try to merge into the Brahmajyoti. A pure devotee desires and values, actually, even a moment, just a moment, with another pure devotee, finding this far more valuable, far more superior to residing in the heavenly planets or trying to merge into the Brahman light. It is, in fact, the greatest blessing anyone can receive. All of us who are entrapped here and must remain within this cycle of repeated birth and death whilst we're living here in this material world, we must seek out these pure devotees and remain with them always. This will give us real happiness while we are here in the material energy. And Srila Prabhupada built ISKCON for this very reason. Anyone lost in material happiness and distress, anyone hopelessly lost in Maya, should utilize this Hare Krishna movement and become fully involved in it. And very soon, all confusion and frustration from these material lives will dissipate, while our spiritual bliss and joy increase. Our supply of spiritual happiness will naturally increase greatly in the association of the devotees. So today I thought to speak some more on the power of devotee association and the power and vision of the pure devotee, as this seems clearly evident from today's verse and purport. And I will read and briefly summarize 3 very relevant readings, which will give us much more information on these topics. And all have been written by Hare Krishna devotees, and all can be found on our various bona fide Hare Krishna websites. So to start, I'll share this article titled Sadhu Sangha, Power of Association, by His Grace Gauranga Darshan Das, and it's been posted back in 2021 in our ISKCON Desire Tree website. Let me read. The company that we keep plays a significant role in our lives. Our desires, habits, and goals are often dependent on the association that we are in. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. Bhagavad Gita 2.62. Associating with cultured people helps us develop good habits, and associating with corrupt people makes us corrupt generally. The Holy Scriptures therefore repeatedly recommend that we avoid bad association and keep good association. Here is Lord Krishna's direct description on the glory of saintly association in the Uddhava Gita, the philosophical song that he sang to enlighten his dear devotee Uddhava. Destruction of material attachment. Devotee association, 1, reduces one's inspiration to enjoy sense gratification. 2, increases one's inspiration to serve and get attached to Lord Krishna. An intelligent person should reject all bad association and take the association of saintly devotees, whose words cut off the excessive attachment of one's mind. That's from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 11.26.26. Tato tu sangam utsriya satsu sajeta buddhiman santa evasya chindanti mano vyasangam ukti bihi. The worship of a devotee is greater than the direct worship of Krishna. Mad Bhakta Puja Biad Hikaha. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 11:19.21. Vaishnava behavior. 8 qualities of a devotee are there. These saintly qualities within a devotee are: 1, not dependent on anything material, anapekshaha. 2, always conscious of Lord Krishna, matchitaha. 3, completely peaceful, prashantaha. 4, endowed with equal vision, samadarshina. 5 is free from possessiveness, nirmamaha. 6, free from false ego, nirahankaraha. 7, free from all material dualities of pain and pleasure, success and failure, and so on, nirdavan vaha. And 8, free from material greed, nisparing graha, from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 11.26.27. Shanto napeksha makchita prasanta samadarshina nirmama nirahankara nirvandva nishparigraha. Machita, or fixing the mind on Krishna, is the most important quality that makes one gradually attain all other good qualities. Krishna Katha, that purifies sins. In the association of saintly devotees, there is constant discussion about Krishna. Bhagavad Gita 10.9. One who associates with them is certainly purified of all sinful reactions and sinful proclivities. Srimad-Bhagavatam 11.26.28. Lord Krishna enters the ear holes of devotees through the sound vibration of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam as spoken by pure devotees, and purifies all their shortcomings and material desires, which are unfavorable for advancement in bhakti. Spiritual hearing from saintly devotees is so powerful and nourishing to the soul that it has become the ultimate aspiration of many advanced devotees, including Dhruva, the Prachetas, Prithu, Prahlad, and so on. When all these devotees attained the darshan of the Supreme Lord, they did not ask for any material benedictions. Rather, they just asked for an opportunity to associate with pure devotees and hear Krishna Katha in that association. Initially, one may not have the inclination to hear Harikatha, but gradually one can develop taste for hearing in the association of devotees. Even Lord Kapila also speaks to his mother, Devahuti, about the glory of sadhu sangha as follows. Satam prasangam mamavri virya samviro bhavanti hritkarna rasayanaha kataha tajjo sanand asva aparvaga vatmani shradharatir bhaktir anukramisyanti. In the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed, and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begin. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 3.25.25. Even if one does not receive direct instructions from pure devotees or associate with them, simply by hearing a pure devotee. Glorify Lord Krishna. One can be purified of all sinful reactions. Prapunanti agham. There are two ways of association. This is key. By Vani and by Vapu. Vani means words and Vapu means physical presence. Physical proximity with a devotee is sometimes possible and sometimes not. But Vani exists eternally. The opportunity to Vani Seva, i.e. to serve a devotee's instructions, is more than the opportunity to engage in Vapu Seva. When the physical association is available, one may be eager to take it. But when it is not available, one should still continue to serve the devotee or the guru by following their instructions. Achieving bhakti by Krishna Katha. Whoever hears Shrinvanti, chants, Gayanti, and respectfully Ardita, takes to heart Anumodanti, these topics about Krishna, becomes faithfully dedicated to me, Matparaha, and thus achieves my devotional service, Bhaktim Vindanti, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 11.26.29. Taye Shrinvanti Gayanti Hiyanumodanti Chadritaha Matpara Shadhadhanascha Bhaktim Vindanti Te Mai. Hearing about Krishna is not just an exercise of information gathering, and chanting or speaking about Krishna is not just to impress people with one's knowledge. The word anumodanti indicates that a devotee not only hears and chants the narrations about Krishna, but also takes the message into one's heart and gradually develop one's devotion to Krishna and the Vaishnava qualities that make one dear to Krishna and his associates and his devotees. Hearing from advanced devotees of Krishna saves one from the ocean of material existence. When one obeys the order of a bona fide guru, the polluted workings of the mind are checked. One sees things in a new spiritual light, and there blossoms the propensity for selfless loving service to the Lord, which gives the fruit of Krishna Prem, love of Godhead. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 11.26.29 from within the purport. A devotee or a bona fide guru speaks Krishna Katha in the mood of the servant and doesn't think oneself to be a great scholar or an independent deliverer of people. A humble speaker of Krishna Katha becomes appreciative and grateful to the enthusiastic hearers, because of whom the speaker gets an opportunity to glorify Krishna, thank you, and thus be Krishna conscious. We see such a mood in several speakers of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, including Maitreya Rishi, Sutta Goswami, Narada Muni, and so on. For instance, Maitreya rejoices to praise Vidura in this way. O Vidura, you have prayed for my association, but according to me, getting your association is most rare. Just by serving persons associated with you, Krishna Bhakti will arise. All descendants of your family are devoted to the Supreme Lord. Just by your eagerness to hear Krishna Katha, you make the garland of Krishna's glories, Kirti Malam, newer and newer at every moment. Abhikshnam, in every word, in every verse, in every chapter, Pade Pade. You string together this garland just by the thread of your taste. Placing this garland within the casket of your ears and mind, which have condensed attraction, you make it eternally fresh. From Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 3.8.1. Thus, proper consciousness of a hearer and speaker of Krishna Katha makes the whole process enlivening and positively transformative to all who access it. Parasparanukattanam pavanam bhagavat yasaha mitoratir mitastustir nivrittir mita atmana. One should learn how to associate with the devotees of the Lord by gathering with them to chant the glories of the Lord. This process is most purifying, and devotees thus develop their loving friendship. They feel mutual happiness and satisfaction. And by thus encouraging one another, they can give up material sense gratification, which is the cause of all suffering. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 11.3.30. Sincere hearing purifies one's heart, and thus one achieves bhakti. After achieving bhakti, what more remains to be accomplished for such a perfect devotee? Bhaktim labdhavataha sadho kim anyad avisyate. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 11.26.30. Devotional service to Lord Krishna is so pleasing that a pure devotee cannot desire anything except service to the Lord. Krishna told the gopis that they would have to accept their service as the ultimate reward of their devotion to him, since nothing awards as much happiness and knowledge as devotional service itself. Jai. Service to pure devotees. In the association of pure devotees, one not only gets the opportunity to hear about Krishna, but also an opportunity to serve the devotees who are very dear to Krishna. By sincerely serving pure devotees, one's theoretical understanding of spiritual philosophy becomes a practical realization. After learning about the Jiva and the Supreme Lord from Maitreya, Vidura spoke to him. I understood the science of soul from you and have become convinced by these conclusions coming from your mouth. But I haven't realized these facts. I am confident that will destroy my lack of realization only by service to your lotus feet. I am confident that I will destroy my lack of realization only by service to your lotus feet. By serving the devotees, sadhun samesvatas, one's dullness, fear, and ignorance are destroyed, just as cold, fear, and darkness are eradicated for one who has approached the sacrificial fire. The safe boat of devotees' association. The peaceful devotees fixed in spiritual knowledge are the ultimate shelter, giving a strong boat that rescues those who are repeatedly rising and falling and drowning within the fierce ocean of material life. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 11.26.32. Nimajyon majatam gore bhavad bo paramayanam santo brahmavidha shanta nordid hevas nord hev papsu majatam. Just as food is the life of all creatures, Krishna's devotees are the only refuge of persons fearful of falling into a miserable condition of life. Bhagavatam 11.26.33. The shelter of pure devotees saves one from being dragged down by material lust and anger because they engage one safely in Krishna's loving service. Association bestows a spiritual vision. The sun allows us only to see external objects, and that too only when he rises in the sky. But Lord Krishna's devotees bestow divine eyes, i.e., spiritual vision to see objects and events in life from a mature perspective. Thus, the devotees who Lord Krishna considers non-different from him are one's real worshipable deities and real family members. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 11:26-34. Santo dishanti chakshumsi barhir akasamuttiha samuttitaha devata bandhava santa atmaham eva cha. Foolishness is the wealth of the impious, who place great value on their treasure and firmly make up their minds to remain in the darkness of ignorance. Saintly devotees of the Lord are just like the sun. By the light of their words, the living entity's eyes of knowledge are opened, and the darkness of ignorance is destroyed. Therefore, the saintly devotees are one's real friends and relatives. They are the proper recipients of service, not the gross material body which merely clamors for sense gratification. This Lord Krishna enlightens Uddhava about the glory of sadhu sangha. So let us eagerly take this opportunity to associate with the saintly devotees of Lord Krishna and serve them to the best of our capacity and come closer to Krishna consciousness, our ultimate aspiration. That ends that reading. So to reiterate here, very briefly, there are a few key points made. Good pious devotee association destroys our material attachments and allows pure devotees to role model much wanted Vaishnava qualities and behaviors to us, such as hearing Krishna Katha to spiritually transform us and purify our consciousness. Then we can learn to serve the pure devotees and stay in the safety net of their close association. Ultimately, what we want by serving them and being in their close association is the opportunity, is the hope that some of their saintliness, some of their pure Vaishnava qualities and characteristics will one day brush off on us too, allowing us a little spiritual vision and spiritual realizations of our own. And our next reading now, the power of pure devotees. Lord Krishna empowers his confidential representatives to act on his behalf. And this is a post by His Grace Brajanatha Das, and he posted that back in November last year in our Back to Godhead website. Spiritual success comes to those who take advantage of the merciful company of Lord Krishna's empowered agents. Association is central to the shaping of character. We become like the people we associate with. Thus, the Holy Scriptures constantly advise us to avoid bad company and embrace good company. The best type of association is to serve the devotees of the Lord, and by that association, by the grace of the Lord's pure devotees, one can become the highest qualified person. Although wood includes fire, in that it has the potential to burn, unless a piece of wood contacts fire, it will ever remain dull wood, no matter how dry or how inflammable it might be. Similarly, each of us needs to contact someone on fire with divine consciousness or Krishna consciousness so that our spiritual potential may be realized. The association of Krishna's pure devotee is powerful. Lord Chaitanya said, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastre, Kaivalva, Kayalava, Matra Sadhu Sange, Sarva Siddhi Haya. The verdict of all revealed scriptures is that by even a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22.54. How long is the moment, lava matra, required to attain all success? Srila Prabhupada explains, according to astronomical calculations, a lava is 1/11th of a second. Just see how powerful the pure devotees' association is. If we fallen souls can get a pure devotees' association for even 1/11th of a second, we can achieve the highest success, pure devotion to Lord Krishna. One can achieve no greater boon in millions and billions and trillions of lifetimes than to have the association of a pure devotee of the Lord. Because pure devotees are unflinchingly fixed in serving Lord Krishna with absolute purity, with every thought, word, and deed in all times, places, and circumstances, Krishna has become their personal property. Since they possess Krishna and are very kind, they can easily give us Krishna. Therefore, we should always seek out and take full advantage of the association of Krishna's pure devotees. The seed of bhakti. Even if we do not have any inclination for Krishna consciousness, the glance of a pure devotee is so powerful that it will immediately plant a seed of bhakti in our heart. As described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 19.151. Brahmananda Brahmite Kona Bhagayavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. According to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary systems, and some are going down into the lower planetary systems. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. By great fortune, one may meet a bona fide spiritual master, a pure devotee, and learn about Krishna. By serving both the spiritual master and Krishna, one gets the seed of devotional service, bhakti lata bij. And if one sows the seed within the heart and waters it by hearing and chanting, it grows into a luxuriant bhakti lata or bhakti creeper, or bhakti vine. Properly tended, the creeper becomes so strong that it penetrates the covering of the universe, reaches the spiritual world, and continues to grow until it reaches and takes shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, where it produces fruit. One must water the creeper of devotional service by hearing and chanting about Krishna and protecting it all around by avoiding offenses. Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 2.2.30, the ripe fruits of love of God are relished only by the devotees constantly engaged in the watering process as described above. But the working devotee must always be mindful so that the creeper which has so grown will not be cut off. And therefore, he should be mindful of the following considerations. 1. Offense by one at the feet of a pure devotee may be likened to the mad elephant who devastates a very good garden if it enters. 2. One must be very careful to guard himself against such offences at the feet of pure devotees, just as one protects a creeper by all-around fencing. 3. It so happens that by the watering process, some weeds are also grown, and unless such weeds are uprooted, the nurturing of the main creeper or the creeper of bhakti yoga may be hampered. 4. Actually, these weeds are material enjoyment, merging of the self in the absolute without separate individuality, and many other desires in the field of religion, economic development, sense enjoyment, and emancipation. 5. There are many other weeds, like disobedience to the tenets of the revered scriptures, unnecessary engagements, killing animals, and hankering after material gain, prestige, and adoration. 6. If sufficient care is not taken, then the watering process may only help to breed the weeds, stunting the healthy growth of the main creeper and resulting in no fructification of the ultimate requirement, love of God. 7. The devotee must therefore be very careful to uproot the different weeds in the very beginning. Only then will the healthy growth of the main creeper not be stunted. 8. And by so doing, the devotee is able to relish the fruit of love of God and thus live practically with Lord Krishna, even in this life, and be able to see the Lord in every step. In his purport, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 19.157, Srila Prabhupada writes, when one associates with non-devotees, the maddened elephant is set loose. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Asatsanga tvayage e Vaishnava achara. The first business of a Vaishnava is to give up the company of non-devotees. A so-called mature devotee, however, commits a great offense by giving up the company of pure devotees. The human being is a social animal, and if one gives up the society of pure devotees, he must associate with non-devotees, asatsanga. By contacting non-devotees and engaging in non-devotional activities, a so-called mature devotee will fall victim to the mad elephant offense. Whatever growth has taken place is quickly uprooted by such an offense. And in his purport to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 4.22.23, Srila Prabhupada writes, the purport is that one cannot live outside the society of devotees. One must live in the association of devotees, where there is constant chanting and hearing of the glories of the Lord. The Krishna consciousness movement has started for this purpose, so that hundreds of ISKCON centers may give people a chance to hear and chant, to accept the spiritual master, and to disassociate themselves from persons who are materially interested. For in this way, one can make solid advancement in going back home, back to Godhead. It's not automatic. Despite our being in devotee association, however, sometimes our consciousness stays materialistic. Why? Doesn't association work automatically? No, it has to be conscientiously made to work. Just as we need to conscientiously drive our car to our destination, making association work means ensuring that in the right association, our consciousness stays directed toward the goal. Bhagavad Gita 10.9 indicates that association is hallmarked by enlightening, enriching discussions about Krishna. It is our responsibility to keep discussions focused on him. This doesn't mean that we neglect basic courtesies or are oblivious of social dynamics. It just means that we don't let these things take center stage in the discussions. We can treat such functional topics like exits along the expressway. While driving, we may take exits temporarily or for refueling or for resting. But we soon return to the expressway. Similarly, whatever other topics we may discuss, we need to soon bring the discussion and thereby our consciousness back to Krishna. In the Mahabharata, when Vidura was advising Dhritarashtra was agreeing with Vidura, but only externally. Dhritarashtra in the beginning could not listen submissively, despite repeated instructions from Vidura. After the battle and the death of all of Dhritarashtra's sons, however, he became a little humble and finally heeded Vidura's instructions. In the end, when he took to heart Vidura's association and instructions, he was liberated. And Prahlad's example. In the 7th canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Narada Muni speaks the topics of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam to Kayadu, the mother of Prahlad Maharaj, who is in her womb. Thus both had the association of Narada Muni and heard the Bhagavatam from him. But Prahlad Maharaj became a great devotee of the Lord, whereas Kayadu didn't, because she was concerned with protecting the child in her womb and anxious to see her husband, Hiranyakashipu, return from tapasya or meditation. Therefore, she could not consider very seriously the sublime instructions of Narada Muni. One can purify the senses by honoring Krishna Prasadam, the mind by chanting the Mahamantra, and the intelligence by reading scriptures. But if one wants to purify the false ego, a great hurdle to attaining Krishna's mercy, one needs the association of devotees. Jai. Practical realization comes by serving them. The association of pure devotee will certainly deliver one from the mire of this world, but that association will catch fire only if one is willing to accept what the pure devotee is giving. Otherwise, success is not possible. In the bygone ages, as well as in recent history, many pure souls descended to earth to spread the message of Krishna, either directly or indirectly. At all times, even though the earth benefited from their saintly association, souls continued to be an illusion because they were not interested. The association and mercy of a pure devotee are the only way to achieve Krishna. But to benefit, we have to voluntarily submit our false ego and follow the pure devotee's instructions. If we cannot always be in the physical presence of Krishna's pure devotees, by always remembering them and carefully following them, their divine instructions, we can be packed up tightly in their association, and thus solidly connected with Lord Krishna, our eternal Lord and Master. We can always have the association of a pure soul, such as Srila Prabhupada, in the form of his instructions, which he mercifully gave us. If we are sincere, serious, and without ulterior motive, then just a moment's association is actually all we need to change the course of our temporary material lives. In the association of those who have made the supremely desirable Lord their supreme desire, the Lord becomes our supreme desire and takes us to the supreme destination. And that ends that very beautiful and learned article post written by His Grace Brajanatha Das. He also holds a PhD, and he's married and lives, he's a disciple of Radhanath Swami, and he lives in Colorado. So just to very briefly summarize here, and we might actually forego the next reading because I think we've covered all that we needed to. I just put in extra just in case we had time. So to briefly summarize here, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, empowers his confidential representatives to act on his behalf. Sadhu Sangha, and even a moment in the association of the pure devotee, is all we really need, because from that can come all the important things essential to a life of bhakti, such as the seed of bhakti, which can be planted in our hearts and then nurtured through all these practices contained within bhakti yoga, such as hearing and chanting of the holy names, keeping devotee association, and access to the pure devotee, access to the guru, both in the form of Diksha, Shiksha gurus, and especially so in the form of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada's transcendental books and the Vedic wisdom contained within these books, so that we may learn from and follow these examples given throughout Sastra and given to us via the great Mahajans, and so that we can learn from their lived examples. So again, today's class really was about these 2 points, really. That of the power of devotee association, all of us being together, chanting, hearing, speaking on Krishna, hearing about Krishna's pastimes. It has a extra potency. We all benefit from it, the hearer, the speaker. It is such a boon, it's such a blessing actually to be able to do this in the association, keep the association of devotees. And the other point was the power of the pure devotee. The pure devotee being our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, clearly a pure devotee, but also our gurus that we follow. We're inspired by them. We see how they perform their bhakti, and we're inspired by them. So our gurus, be it Diksha, Shiksha, we also can understand the value of keeping their company. And again, not necessarily just the physical company, it's about the instruction. So for Srila Prabhupada, we get his instruction from his books, from studying his books. And then, of course, we become more and more inspired and realize how incredibly wondrous this path of bhakti is. And then we might want to actually meet a guru, and then we might want to actually submit to a guru and follow their instructions nicely, because this is the process. This is the process that we've outlined in bhakti yoga. So I'll stop there. Thank you all for your attendance and listening so nicely. If there are any questions or comments or realizations too, any realizations around, being with devotees or your Diksha or Shiksha Guru, that would be nice too. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Bo.
Hare Bol, Shailendra here. Now, I refer to the first statement in today's purport, where it says, Saint Prabodhananda Saraswati said, for a pure devotee, merging into existence of Brahman, which is the Brahman's effulgence, is no better living than living in the hell. What is Brahman's effulgence? Why does he compare it with hell? Aren't there any pure devotees there?
So I'll just speak on what I can speak on, Shailendra, Thank you. And then I might open it up because we have many, many, many senior Vaishnavas in the room who can also perhaps answer you more fully.
No worries. We're just seeking answers. Yes. What does
Yeah.
that mean?
Okay. So my understanding is the comparison is being made in the first instance just to show how it is not of any value at all, really. And so an immediate quick comparison is made. The heavenly planets, no good. The Brahman effulgence, no good. But of course, there's more meaning than that involved in it. And there is where I might leave it and perhaps ask Madhavi Prabhu or someone else who's a little bit further along in their Krishna consciousness to help Shalendra.
No
Thank you.
worries. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Look, I'll look forward for the answer if anyone can come through today.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranams. Mataji, first, thank you very much for your wonderful class and the selection of readings that you made. It's so important. And one point that you said is something that we all have to contemplate upon, is that it has to be our considered aspect of associating with the pure devotee. It is not that merely in the presence of someone that we get everything. Yes, there is an effect, but as you read, by following, even if the pure devotee is not directly present, but by following his instructions is what we get. Thank you very much. Hi, Krishna Shailendra Prabhu. Thank you very much for your nice question. The point, the first thing is, Brahman refers to the effulgence of the Lord, the luster that comes out of the light in the form of the light from the body of the Lord. That is called as the Brahman effulgence. That pervades everywhere, both in the spiritual and in the material worlds. It is pervaded everywhere. So that is present. The reason why something is considered, why the devotee is considered being in the Brahman effulgence, like no better or even worse than Naraka. First of all, in the aspect of Brahman effulgence, or what it means to be in the Brahman effulgence, is what is known as Sayujya Mukti, meaning merging into the Brahman effulgence, losing one's identity. Therefore, although it doesn't happen, it is the thinking of the person or the feeling of that living entity that they have merged into the Lord. But in that state, there is no service. Bhakti is devotional service. Without service, bhakti cannot be there. So there cannot be a pure devotee in the sense of merging into the Brahman effulgence. There will be devotees who are on their path to perfection, but not the pure devotee, because the pure devotee always wants service. And as this verse says, they even more than the service, directly the service of the Lord, they want the service of the devotees of the Lord, those who are rendering pure devotional service. That is what they want. They want to keep rendering service. So that is why in this verse, in the context that is being written, is that the devotee actually wants service. And for that is possible even in Naraka, because even there are living entities, and everybody ultimately is the devotee of the Lord, in the sense that everybody is on the path to perfection and therefore rendering service. And that service, which is of the highest value, is bringing someone closer to Krishna. So therefore, even in Naraka, when that is possible, but in the Brahman effulgence, the entities over there have given up that attitude of service by merging into the Brahman effulgence, and therefore for the devotee, that position is worse than Naraka. Hopefully this is helpful to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhu Das. I get your point. And another question arises, then what are they doing there? What exactly are the activities there?
See, there is no activity, or they want see all that they are. It's almost like I'm in a state of peace. I'll just stay like that without any activity. But ultimately, it's not possible, because as Krishna says, the soul is always active. The soul cannot be without activity. So ultimately, those personalities who are seeking that merging into the Brahman effulgence have again gone to come down. So there is no choice for them, and that is why the devotees don't want that. Although it is one of the 5 types of liberation, the devotee never aspires for the liberation by merging into the Brahman effulgence.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That was very thoughtful answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, such a wonderful example of good devotee association. Thank you, Prabhu. And thank you for your question too, Shalindra. Are there any other questions or comments? Thank you, everyone, for your attendance to class today. We'll end there. All glories to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai.
Jai.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hari Hari Bol.
Her Grace Jamuna Mataji ki jai.